Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a first look at the X-Plane 11 version of Airhauler 2. Now of course Airhauler 2 has been available for both P3D and FSX for a little while now, but Just Flight have gone ahead and released an X-Plane 11 version, which I'm very happy about. Now, so what I thought I'd do today is take a bit of a brief look across the program, just to give you a bit of a feel for what it's all about. And obviously for those of you that maybe have X-Plane 11 and FSX, you want to get a bit of a look to see what the differences are, if any. So that's what this is all about. So just a bit of a disclaimer, this is not a tutorial. I'm certainly not an expert in this particular program. I have played it a little bit in FSX, enough just to get myself around, but I certainly don't know all the details. So that's what a series might do, is sort of go into more of that detail in the future. Anyway, with that said, here we go. We're in the opening screen and it asks you to go ahead and create a company. So we will do that. I've already got the path for our our X-Plane 11 down there. Get it right. We'll go to next, and a company name, spit it out, Mace. Let's call it Kiwi Air. There we go. Your pilot handle, Kiwi Mace, and your name, Kiwi Mace. There we go. Very creative right there. So this is where you can choose your difficulty, and there's 3 different things to take into account when you create your first company. The amount of money that you get in your bank is the first thing, and that's what you can use to repair aircraft, purchase aircraft, all that sort of stuff, buy whatever you need. Makes sense. Your reputation, and that's an important component, and it contributes to a bunch of different things, including the access to different routes that you might want to fly, which pilots want to fly for you, so the access to the pilot market, a whole bunch of different things. So as you successfully complete jobs, or don't successfully complete them, your reputation will go up and down depending on that. And then the third thing is the aircraft that you get when you start the game. So you can have everything from a fully configured passenger 737 through to just a Cessna 172. So what I'll probably do here is let's just start with a Cessna 172. Why not, on hard with 250k in the bank? So obviously it's the old story of building a company up from the very basic version, or starting it and just at already fairly established. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So first thing you need to do is choose your base of operations. So you pretty much got access to every airport in the game. And you want to probably do a little bit of research around this, because one important factor, which I'm not going to go into massive detail in this video, is around the commodity market. So I'm just going to go KSFO just for an example, and let's just use that and go ahead next. Boom. So yeah, we'll get and maybe in future videos we'll talk about commodities and factories in a lot more detail, but that is part of the game that you can get really into. It's not just about flying jobs from A to B, it's about manufacturing goods and doing a whole bunch of different things in the particular game. So what we've got here is your options around how the jobs are created. Now you can go ahead and change this whenever you like throughout the game, so it doesn't matter too much what you have it on here, but it just says basically job volume, how many jobs you're going to get, the distance of the job, and now obviously you need to take a look at your aircraft and make sure that you're not doing a whole lot of really long distance jobs that say a Cessna 172 couldn't handle. Then the size of the job, so you're talking about how many passengers, or how the size, sort of the weight, I should say, of the cargo that you've got to carry. Then we've got internal jobs and the airports that you're going to fly to. So obviously I want slightly smaller airports I'm going to fly to, because I'm in a Cessna 172 at this point. So I probably shouldn't have picked KSFO for a Cessna, by the way, but that gives me a good base to grow from. So there we go. We are ready to go, and it's just going to load up here. Now this program can get quite detailed. Oh, there we go. We've got humanitarian aid missions. And I don't have a type rating for this aircraft. No. So, like I said, the program can get quite technical if you want to, or you can just do a lot of flying. It's really up to you. But you would notice here it says that I've got to get the type rating for the aircraft. So you've got to go and do a little check ride. For any aircraft that you want to personally fly, you've got to get qualified in it, which is a nice little touch. So what we'll do is let's just go to options for a start, just to check those out. So up on the left hand side here, you can actually change the look of of the program. I've got it on dark theme at the moment, and whenever a dark theme's available, I always take it, because particularly if you're at night and you don't want a big white screen in your face. So that's the dark theme, and you've got all these other options here, sort of similar to Microsoft Excel or something like that, which will change the color of the bars and all that sort of stuff. Your options right here, you've got just basically this is the stuff that popped up at the start that you changed. So your path to X-Plane 11, this is slightly different. You can change the colors of all the path lines and your routes, etc. And whether you want them dashed or dot or whatever, whatever suits you. You might have, you might be colorblind, for example, so you need to change those so you can actually see them, that sort of stuff. Here goes some general options where, your GPWS, or whether you want your safety cabin announcement to go off, and what currency you want to use. So how about we go ahead and use dollars? Has it got US dollars? Let's just use normal dollars then. And some other stuff there. And then your job creation options. Those are the ones that, as you remember, we adjusted when we first went into the game. So you can adjust those whenever you like. Oh, it changed the look of my office. That's cool. There we go. And so obviously another one that's very important is the Air Hauler 2 manual. Highly recommend get your face into that. You probably won't. Most people don't. But it does have a lot of really good information there. You can actually change these backgrounds here too, by the way, from memory. I can't remember how it happens, but you can do it. You can change the images, and because that one's a little bit dated by the looks of it. But that's all cool. You can go ahead and change that. But as you can see, as you hover over each of them, it actually replicates some of these buttons up the top. So if we look at the different options up here, you've got your cargo jobs and passenger routes. So it's got all the information you need around the type of flights that are available right now. So if you look at your overview map, it will give you a little bit of a visual representation of the types of jobs that are available. So you can click on the line, for example, and it will highlight the job that's available. So this one here, KSFO, which is San Francisco to 042, and it's 173 miles, nautical miles, and you're ferrying precious metals, 300 precious metals, and you will get $3,000 as a reward. It's got expiration time, so you've got to go ahead and get it done within the time. So I could click on fly now. It would probably throw an error message saying that I do not have my rating for that aircraft, so I could assign it to an AI, which I don't think I've got any AI pilots. Let's see. I'll go accept it. And I've got my Cessna Skyhawk right there, so I can go okay. But I don't have any pilots, so I can't accept that. Yeah, so I've got to go and hire a pilot. So you can that's what you can do. You can actually just manage it like an airline manager, where you just hire a whole lot of AI pilots, or you can fly the flights yourself. It's really up to you. But pretty straightforward right there. We'll quickly go through these little tabs down below on the side here. Commodities. I'm not going to go into that into detail today, but basically you have the ability to build factories and create commodities and then manufacture goods and then ship them all around the place. So there's a lot of money to be made on the manufacturing side of it. You've also got your missions right here. So this one here is supply haggis, apparently. on the western side of the United States, there's a demand for haggis. There we go. Here goes your aircraft information. So the Cessna Skyhawk, it's got a 500 range, it's 100% condition, and it can carry 837. The pilots that are available at the airport, and then any commodities that you have available at the airport. And then you've got your parts shop here. So, obviously, if you go ahead and start smashing up your aircraft, if you're a terrible flyer like me, then you can go ahead and replace it, or there might be some demand for these somewhere else in the world. So across the top here is just a breakdown of all the different route sort of options. If there's missions available, so if you go to humanitarian missions, you can see here that this one is, as the UK continues on a domestic social distancing. Oh, look at this. This is very relevant, isn't it? Stay-at-home campaign. The UK government and NHS is requesting donations of emergency medical supplies to build stocks for the peak cases and infections anticipated in June. Anyone who can produce such supplies is being asked to assist. So I can't remember how these work, but because they're humanitarian missions, I don't think you get paid for them, but you do get reputation, I think it is. But don't quote me on that. Like I said, I'm not an expert. But hey, how relevant is that? Look, Spain is in full lockdown. France has declared war against COVID-19. Okay, so these must be uploaded in real time. I mean, how good is that? I love it. So then your accepted missions, you can have a look at those. We haven't got any. You can go to radar. Now, I believe this is a real-world indication of... oh, yeah, look at this. You've got chat over here. So this just basically gives you a real-life look at who's flying in the game at the moment across the world. So this is real... Oh, Mace, what are you doing? Here we go here. We've got all these different pilots, I should say. So that's kind of cool. As you can see, as you go into every tab here, it creates a little shortcut here. You can get rid of that, and then you can quickly flick between, the most important ones or the most regular ones that you use. So that's your cargo jobs. A lot of information here to get your head around. Your company information. First thing to look at is your bases. So you can actually go ahead and open bases all around the place, but that does cost money. So there are... we'll get into the finance side of it in a minute. It does cost you. Then you've got your fleet, and here we go. Here we've got the Cessna 172. You can go ahead and repair it if it's bottom right here. If it's got information, if it's got damage. You've got your hours to check. So I've still got 50 hours to my 50-hour checks. I haven't flown at all, but you've got to go ahead and do those ongoing maintenance checks. So that costs money also. You can take insurance. So if you completely smash it up, it will basically, if you crash the aircraft, you can replace it at no cost. Well, $2,000 per month, so it's probably a good idea to do that. No. And you can position the aircraft at wherever you want to. Now, transfer to VA, what you can actually do is integrate your virtual airline. Like if you've got one separately, a separate virtual airline on the web, you can integrate it into this program also. I don't know a lot about that though, but it sounds pretty cool. So it's got no cargo or passengers on board at the moment because it's just in there. I can change the configuration depending on the aircraft. This one here, it's got a few options here that you can add. And I assume that will cost money to do that. I'm not too sure. So fleet, if we go to pilots and ops, we've got no pilots here. So because we haven't hired any. Here goes the type rating. So obviously if we clicked on our pilot up the top here, it will show what kind of aircraft they're currently rated to fly. And that's really important. You've got to make sure that your pilots are actually qualified to fly the aircraft. Here goes some info here. It's going to give you a bit of a line graph based on your reputation. And that's an important thing to follow. And then just a line by line overview of how your reputation is tracking right there. And then your finance. This is an important thing to continue to monitor. It's just looking at your income and your expenses and looking at your monthly overhead. So there you go. So just having a Cessna 172 located at SFO, it's going to cost us $43,000 a month. That's a lot. I would assume that it's because we're in quite a large airport that the fees for operating out of the airport are quite steep. So that is one thing to think about depending on what sort of difficulty level you start on. Here goes our ledger, which once again will be a line by line. And any loan, so you can actually take loans out, but it will obviously require you to pay it back and have some interest. So you've got ATM here, you can deposit funds, withdraw funds, a whole lot of stuff, but there's a bit of detail there to get into. So if I go to personal info, this is just individually your player within the game, what it's all about. Here we go, Kiwi Mace. My personal fleet, so you can have your personal aircraft or the actual company aircraft. You can paint it up. You got your flight log, you visited, and your achievements. So you got a bunch of different achievements here, but of course we have done absolutely nothing. So there you go, a lot of detail to get into there. Now if you go to office, it will just take you back to the office. Here goes the virtual airline information. So if you go to it's not gonna do anything here for me because I haven't got a virtual airline. But basically, once again, you can put transfer all the information that you want to transfer from your real world virtual airline, which doesn't really make sense because a virtual airline's not real world. But you know what I mean. One from outside the game, and you can create jobs for all your members to fly. So that's kind of cool. Don't know a lot about it. If you went into the hiring board. Okay, so you could actually put your name in there and people will contact you if they want, they need more pilots for their virtual airline. Let's go factories and construction. So this is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. And this is where you can start building factories to create commodities or basically combine commodities and manufacture certain goods, and then what you can do is ship those goods off to places that would like to buy them, and you can make money there. Now, one thing you can also do from memory is if you have a look around different airports in your area, you might see that a commodity is you can buy a commodity for quite low, but and there's another airport nearby that wants to you can buy it for low and then sell it at a local airport or one nearby for a lot more. So you can actually make money just by buying low and selling high. The good old basics of economics right there. So you got your items. So as you can see here, you got tier 1 items, tier 2 and tier 3 items. I'm not going to go into this in detail, but basically, beef can be bought and sold. Tier 2, computers and peripherals. But to build computers and peripherals, you need 2 times electronics, 1 times plastics, and 1 times machine parts. So it's sort of a crafting type scenario there. And so you can go ahead and build this sort of stuff and then sell it off. So that's kind of cool. Stock finder. So if you need a certain type of commodity, you can go ahead and search for it there. Construction. So you can see if you want to build a construction facility or dismantle facility, and if you need parts, you can go ahead and search for parts right there. Now that was a very quick overview. This can get quite, not complex, but definitely involved. And it can be a big part of the game for sure. And once you understand it, there's a lot of money to be made, and it really helps your company. So that's factories and construction. Let's go across the marketplace. So this is where you have the opportunity to purchase some aircraft, and how about a good old B-52 Stratofortress? That's what every good passenger airline needs. But as you can see right down here, there's a bunch of different aircraft available. It talks about what their passenger capability is and their range. If you want to purchase it new, or if you want to lease it. So you might go ahead and lease an aircraft, knowing that the amount of income that you can earn each month will easily cover the lease price and make some profit. So there's a heap of different options right here. So what you might actually do is you might start building your fleet of aircraft up, hire pilots, and getting the AI to fly a whole bunch of different missions for you. Why is there there's an SR, look at all these aircraft here. So you've got an SR-71, an F-4 Phantom. Jeez, these are all a Stratofortress. X-15. Ha! Okay, that's interesting. So now, from memory, I think these are what aircraft are available. I'm not sure if this is the market where I'm currently located, or whether it's the entire market. It's probably where I'm located right now, I'd say. If you go to crew, you can see here goes all the different pilots that are available at the moment that you can hire. It talks about what their monthly salary is, and then what their rank is, and then over in the right hand corner you can see which aircraft they're currently rated for. So you want to make sure that look, these are all military pilots. I'm not too sure how this happened, but anyway, I'm sure it's a good explanation. It's a Beechcraft Baron 58, I would imagine. So if you've got an aircraft like a Cessna 172, you might hire this person and they don't have the rating, but you can go ahead and train them up and give them the type rating. So that's not too hard. And as you can see, as I've been going into all these tabs, it's creating the shortcut to them there. It gets quite involved. So loans and banking, you can take out a bank loan there. So let's see. At the moment, it's 22% interest. Whoa. And although you can, at the moment I only have the capability of borrowing $320,000. Now I am sure, can I do more? No. I would say that the maximum capability is based maybe on your current cash flow or expenses or reputation. There'll be a few things that will determine how much you can actually borrow. So there we go. And then the final one here is private sales. So this is probably the go-to by the looks of it. And it gives you a list of all the different aircraft that are available as a private sale. You can see what the condition is at the moment. And, the different components once again. So you got your Sentinel here, 66% condition, so you might have to go ahead and do a bit of maintenance on that. You want to keep it up in the green if you can, obviously. And it looks F4 Phantom. Here we go, Beechcraft Baron 58. How much does he want for this? Or she, actually, in this case, Alicia Ray. How can you tell how much they want? I Do you have to press buy aircraft here? Ah, 447. Ah, there goes the price right there, right in front of me. No, we do not want to buy it. It's too expensive. But as you can see, that's how you can pretty quickly build your fleet once you get a bit of money in the bank. So there goes that part of it. If we go across to management right here, you go to aircraft management. And I'm not too sure what this is about. I think this is about... I'll need to have a look in the manual, but this is about managing the type of aircraft that are available in the game. And I have just figured out why we've got all these aircraft here, these military aircraft. So essentially it's just spat out all the aircraft that I currently have in X-Plane 11, which isn't a heap of them. And it's just grabbed the main ones. That's why we've got the Phantom and the all these funny other aircraft in there. Okay, cool. So you can actually go ahead and add aircraft into the game and stuff like that. So and modify the data. You want to increase their range or make it more realistic or whatever. So yep, I get that. You can update the image. So this is just pulling it straight from X-Plane. And then you got airport management once again. You can disable airports and a few other things like that. You can import scenery if you want to. So then that way it's accurately represented in the game. And custom airports once again. You probably go ahead and create a new airport. You might have a little airstrip near you that's not represented in the game. So you can go ahead and do that. And then we're back to options. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very quick overview of Air Hauler 2. As you can see, you can really get your teeth into this thing and do a bunch of different things. Now, if you just want to fly, you can just fly. You can just do, similar to sort of FS economy, you can just fly your aircraft from A to B. You can just fly it yourself, and that's fine, and, you know, and rack up a whole lot of money doing it that way. Or, like I say, get into the factories, get into the commodities, buy low, sell high, manufacture and craft goods and stuff like that you can go ahead and sell also. From what I can see here, pretty much identical to FSX, so for those of you that have played that version, you'll be able to pick this one up and go ahead and play it quite easily. I think they're doing a little bit of a discount for those that do have the FSX or P3D version, so if you want to grab it for X-Plane 11 also, that will be nice and easy for you there too, help you out. So what we might do is, like I said earlier in the video, might go ahead and do a bit of a series where we'll really get down into the nitty gritty and get into much of the detail things you can do within the game. So that could be a bit of fun, but I hope you did enjoy this overview. Smash the like button down below if you did enjoy it, and if you're new, consider subscribing. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.